Breaking news, it hasn't even been 2 hours since President Trump signed an executive order reclassifying marijuana and the pot-adjacent play. Scott's Miracle-Gro is making news regarding its Hawthorne subsidiary that sells cannabis growing supplies, such as light systems and plant nutrients to marijuana growers. Scott's talking about its plan to combine that subsidiary with a dedicated pure-play cannabis company next year. Well, right there in the room, Scott's Miracle-Gro CEO Jim Hagedorn was with the president as he signed the executive order. He joins us now live from the White House in a Fox Business exclusive to give us first reaction. Jim, you've been waiting a long time to see this executive order come through. What was it like to be there?
It was awesome. It was the end of 10 years of work, working kind of with both parties, but it took President Trump to get this done, and it was an amazing experience. We spent last week 2 hours and 15 minutes arguing this issue with a whole diverse group of people in the Oval Office, where the president led this really great conversation that resulted in the executive order that he signed today.
Well, he signed it, and what you see on the screen is a lot of scientists behind him and doctors, which is a message that I think he really wanted to send. By reclassifying cannabis and marijuana as a Schedule 3 drug versus Schedule 1, which is way more dangerous. That's like heroin and ecstasy. Schedule 3 is more, prescription painkillers, et cetera. That will open up medical research. I think he wanted to put that part forward. You look at it from a business angle, but talk a little bit about that.
Well, there's two angles. There was no doubt that marijuana was misscheduled, meaning that there was high addiction potential and no medical benefit. So I think everyone that was in the room last week in the Oval Office agreed that it needed to be rescheduled. It was really a question whether it was 2 or 3. What 3 does, which is what the president ordered, is it opens the door for a lot more research. And there's this clearly, because it was a Schedule 1, very restrictive, almost no research was allowed. Now, all this research is allowed. Now, for all the people who are in the legitimate market selling in legal states, they can now go from like an 80% tax rate down to a 21% federal rate. And, the president asked me, why was that important? And I said, because nobody who went legal, businesses that went legal that touch marijuana, they can't make any money with a federal rate of 80%. The code was designed that way to punish people in federally illegal businesses, a Schedule 1. This allows those markets to stay open, keeps it away from the illicit operators, keeps it away from children. So very beneficial, I think.
Jim, you talk about the give and take in the Oval Office. It is no secret that his Health and Human Services Chief, RFK Jr., does not like this. How did he leap over RFK Jr. and take the side of not just you and the people who are in the business of cannabis and cannabis growing, but also people who have suffered greatly from cancer, and they really, I believe, made an important
Well, Liz,
case.
I think that you're saying exactly what influenced the president was the harm that people, or really the benefit that people are getting from the use of both CBD and THC products in treatment of really serious health issues, where the other choices would be, very powerful opioids. And so the president, every time I met with the president, he's just a really sympathetic guy. He listened. He kind of went against his own team. I think the president knew what he wanted to do before we went in. He told us when he was running for this term that he wanted to reschedule it. Mm-hmm. It was a tough meeting because everybody was throwing their 2 cents in. The president led it. It was the kind of meeting that we do all the time in business, but it was just a really well-managed meeting by the president. I was so impressed with how the president led the meeting and gave everybody a chance to talk, listened, sort of pushed the conversation, got the Speaker of the House on the phone, and everybody was talking.
Wow.
And it took over 2 hours.
So, just by the way, you know, if we look at some of the intradays of these stocks, they were spiking earlier. It's sort of a sell on the news play. But right now, you're saying that you're going to take your hydroponics business that helps grow marijuana, that Hawthorne division, and move it to a pure play cannabis company. Why? Just as it looks like there's real opportunity opening up in this country at a policy level, would you do that?
I think that if we look at our investors are very interested in lawn and garden and a very consistent high levels of free cash flow, and we can do that in lawn and garden. I think the cannabis investor, and we're not giving this up, we're going to maintain our opportunity to benefit from this equity, just not inside SMG as the equity. And I think that the investors in cannabis are more tolerant of kind of the spikiness of the output in the cannabis play.
Well, Jim, it's now on its way. In some cases, it's still illegal at the federal level, but this will open up banking and investing opportunities from an institutional level, and we'll continue to watch it with you alongside.
It's a really great day for America.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Happy holidays, Jim.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you.